Yeah.
Okay, so we want to ask this question that just came in. I think this one is very important. How do you handle not being sexually pleased with your spouse? How do you handle not being sexually pleased with your spouse?
Well, it's you guys can. I want to add. You guys can please add. We have a lot of sexual tension in churches because as Christians we generally are not upfront with addressing these things. In fact, for us, we had to start a whole ministry called Wholesome Sexuality. So we have a Christian sexologist that now coaches couples all over the world and tries to help Christians. The reason why we say that is that the way someone that doesn't have Christ will address some issues is not the way a Christian will. So the person has the training scientifically and also has scriptural backing, so that helps. If you are not pleased with your spouse, the main thing is conversation. Conversation. And for young people always asking me, oh, we're looking for sexual compatibility. What you actually need is sexual commitment. Because in a marriage, the most important thing is your partner's willingness to show up. It's not how compatible you are. You are not going to be compatible forever. You might think you're compatible now that you're single, but that's stolen sex. When life happens, when children come, when work comes, when stress comes, your preference will keep changing. So what matters is both your willingness to show up for your partner as life happens and as you guys change. So if you are having issues now with sexually, have the conversation. All right, find out. It's not usual for an adult not to enjoy sex. It's not a usual thing. So if somebody's not enjoying sex, there must be a reason. And we need to get to that reason. Is it psychological? Is it biological? Is it an experience they've had? A bad experience with sex or something. But it's not usual for someone not to want or enjoy sex with their partner. It's not a usual thing. So don't treat it as usual. So have the conversation. And if you need to seek professional help, also do that. Because sex is a major part of married life. Very major part of it.
Yeah. So I wanted to share this, and we talked about it this morning because as we were preparing to come, we had watched a quick video on Facebook, and it's, that's just how the Holy Spirit works, because one of the first things that you said, and I had to write it down, is that if your partner has to beg for anything, something is wrong. And then you went forward to say you are serving your partner with everything you have. Because so this morning we were watching this clip where the man had said something about if you wake up thinking that your spouse is always going to be in the mood to have sex every time you want to have sex, then something is wrong. So just thinking about how we're hearing that again, and clearly this is a question that is topmost on people's mind, and it's something that I know as a couple we definitely had to mature into understanding the concept of showing up when, during those times. So PT, I know you wanted to say something to add to that.
Well, no, just to say, many times sex doesn't start in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a whole lot that, goes into that. So I'll just say, don't be anxious or afraid to switch things up to find out what the real issue is. Because, we had a friend where it's like, look, I don't know what it is, but once my wife sees a hotel room number, it's like a different thing. But come to find out, she's like, yeah, because in the house, the kids are next door. There's like so many things happening. So I'll say sometimes switch it up. I love the approach PK took. I think we did that once too, where we had someone come to church just to talk about it. And Anna probably can add some more about sex education. But I think it's okay to have this conversation, to talk where you're really, really in tune. When some other things are taken care of, especially maybe for women, they're not thinking about the dishes in the sink or some other things. Like it makes life much easier for everybody. So I think, just start the sex before the bedroom. There's some days that by 10 a.m. I already know it's about to go down tonight. Like it's happening. So I'll just say, whatever you can to get to that place where it's not just an act. It's not just one bam, thank you, ma'am, right? It's a whole experience.
Yeah. Just speaking to that video, the person, I didn't watch the video, so I'm just going to piggyback off what you described. That although if you always think your wife is going to be in the mood, the truth is that as life begins to happen, the times you're in the mood will keep reducing. If you leave sex to only when you're in the mood, you're not going to have sex. That's what's going to happen. And it's not just even sex, every other thing. We don't do marriage by mood. So this is where people have a struggle. The moment you surrender to mood, it will creep into every other thing. So I'm not in the mood to be nice today. I'm not in the mood, I'm in the mood to be rude. Oh yeah. The moment you make mood the God. You see, this, like I said, I don't jump into tomorrow's message, but that's the difference between a contemporary and a cultural marriage. In a kingdom marriage, what dictates the rules is what God says. Has nothing to do with my mood. Nothing to do with mood at all. If you follow mood, oh man. Pastor, do you feel you are in the mood to go to church every Sunday? Even the pastor. There's some Sundays I don't want to be in church. I'm the pastor. So what does mood have to do with it? Well, was he just in the mood to die? What does mood have to do with it? In fact, he said it that if it's possible, let this cup pass over me. But he said, nevertheless, not my will. So now, I'm not taking off the fact what PT said is very important, that, sometimes you need to set the mood. Sometimes your partner is just stressed, so yes. But I think the direction both of you are headed is more important than even the experience of today, one experience. So there are times, yes, one party can be stressed. We have a rule we generally teach that if somebody initiates sex and the other person for some solid reason does not comply, that person has around 24 hours to initiate back, to meet that need. That's what marriage is, about meeting each other's needs. You can't leave it to mood. Oh no, if you leave it to mood, you're not going to have sex till it's going to be once a month. So my wife also has something she describes. There's something called dutiful sex, and there's something called beautiful sex. So beautiful sex is when we are both in the mood. That doesn't happen too many times. Dutiful sex is when one person shows up for the other person because the other person is in the mood, even though they are not in the mood. But this person, my wife wants me now, my husband wants me now, and I show up. And you see, this issue of mood and sex, it's not just sex. But Dr. I was talking about it. Sometimes your wife needs you to show up in conversation, not even sex. She wants to talk. So am I going to follow mood? I'm not in the mood to talk now. I'm in the mood to watch sports. You see, we can't run marriage. And if I have one message for America, that will be the message. You guys are too fixated on feelings. So that's why marriages here will struggle a lot, because there are many times you won't feel like being somebody's wife or somebody's husband or somebody's parent. There are times you want to give your kids out to Salvation Army. Give them out. You don't want to be a parent, but nobody cares about your mood. Life doesn't run on mood. So if you understand that part of what you said you would do in marriage is show up sexually, whether in the mood or not, and you are the only legitimate distributor of sexual satisfaction for this person, you're the only person allowed to show up. So there are times you won't be in the mood for sure. Still show up. That's what solid couples do. And my wife always say, if you do dutiful sex, if you do it well, it will eventually become beautiful sex. So it's a thing of the mind. And if you need to pray, the conference they had in my home church today, the wife of the speaker said she also used to give a lot of excuses when it was time for sex, that she started praying about it. So now she has stopped giving excuses. She shows up whenever the husband wants sex. All right? I've been married for, in a few months now, it will be 20 years. It's 19 plus, and in those, in those 19 years plus, almost 20, this woman has never said no sexually. Never said no. And I can tell you for free, she's not. You can see how our travel is, how our lives, our schedule is crazy, but she understands it's a point of service. Now, and the way it usually works, men want sex, women want to make love. So women enjoy the process of making love, which is different. It's like what PT said, setting the mood, touching her, playing with her. I dealt with that in that book, How to Make Love to a Woman Without Touching Her. The way to do it, there are a lot of things you need to do. So sometimes most times the woman wants making love. But for men, most times men want sex. There are two different things. Yes, he just wants a release. It's a physical thing to him. A woman enjoys that you want me. You are into me. We're looking into each other's eyes and we are kissing gently. We're not rushing to the end of the point. Women enjoy that. For men, that is also a sacrifice because we are project driven. We want to go right to the end of the matter. The issue is that for a couple to be happy, both people need to be showing up for each other. So there are days I know my wife needs the full works and not just, one bam, thank you, ma'am. But there are days she knows I don't have strength for the full works. I just need to get to the end of the journey. So one thing that is constant in our own home is that we are always showing up for each other with a good attitude. There's a woman that even though they're doing something for you, say, okay, just come. I know you. Just do your thing. This is why you just do. No, just come. With a horrible attitude. With a horrible attitude. Again, it's anti-covenant to do. Have you ever seen God do anything for you with an attitude? Say, I just give you oxygen. No. It's anti-covenant. So if you're going to do something for your husband or wife, never do it with that attitude that, no. Be joyful, be happy that you have the opportunity of being a blessing to somebody's life. Praise God.